I love the sizzle of butter melting in a pan, the smell of cinnamon while I'm baking. I need to touch food while it's cooking and, of course, taste it, even if I can't see it very well. To me, cooking should be fun. That's why I've invited chefs from across Canada who feel the same way I do to cook with me, virtually. Welcome to Dish with Mary. Hi, I'm Mary Mammoliti, and today I'm meeting Sang Kim. Sang has been behind some of the most iconic modern Japanese and Korean restaurants in Toronto. This Korean-born award-winning author, TV personality, public speaker, playwright, chef, and restaurateur is also the mastermind behind Sushi Making for the Soul, North America's most popular sushi making workshop that has serviced over 60,000 participants since 2008. It started as a free class for children in low-income, high-risk communities to raise awareness about food insecurity and childhood poverty in the Greater Toronto Area, and continues to do a lot of work with these communities today. And that's where I'm going to meet him. Chef Sang.
Mary,
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
I have always wanted to make sushi.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Before we begin, what is sushi?
The su, you know what? The first two letters of it is referencing one of the most important ingredients or components to sushi, and that's the vinegar, rice vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
And without rice vinegar, what you can't do is you can't preserve, you can't allow the flavor and the texture for the most important ingredient, which is the rice. And so the grain has to be lightly seasoned. It's got to be seasoned when the rice is hot. So when it spores open and it's ready to close because it's cooling, you got to get just the right amount of rice vinegar in there so that it just traps it and keeps it in that outer layer of the grain.
So what are we working on today?
So we're going to make two different type of rolls. We're making a traditional Japanese style roll called a hozomaki.
Mm-hmm.
A hozomaki is defined by two criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the nori is on the outside.
Okay.
Number two, it can only max out at 4 ingredients, including the rice and nori.
Okay.
And then we're making an Americanized roll called the uramaki, which has got the rice on the outside.
And we're standing here in front of all these delicious ingredients.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what's going to go in both, okay? So you have the nori, which is the seaweed wrap, right? You have the rice, and you have the cucumbers.
Remember, for today's full recipe, go to ami.ca/dish-recipes. Okay, I'm really excited to do this. Let's get started.
Let's go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a half sheet of nori, and you should be able to feel a difference.
So I get more of that rough exterior on one side and then a smoothness on the other side.
That's right. Here's the thing. When I ask you to apply rice to a nori sheet, you're always applying it to the rough, textured, coarse side because the coarse side allows the rice to cling better.
Okay.
So you want to make a roll?
I'd love to. I've never made it. This is my very first time.
But you know what?
I'm excited.
You're talented in everything you do, so don't worry about this. You got this.
Stop.
I'm going to teach you how to make a hozomaki called a kappa. Just a classic 3-ingredient cucumber roll. So what we have is a bamboo mat that's saran wrap.
So I'm gonna just place in the nori right on top of that?
Yeah, and so feel it so that the coarse side is facing up toward the ceiling, okay?
Okay.
And what we're gonna do with the rice is we're gonna dip our fingers in the water.
Okay, dipping my fingers into the little ramekin of water next to me.
And then what I want you to do with that water is I want you to clap it as dry as possible on the other side. It has to be just lightly moist so that when you pick up the rice, it doesn't stick to your fingers. That's all you want.
Okay.
The rice has to fill up the entire sheet, except you leave a 1/4 inch along the top edge free of rice.
Okay.
And the reason why you're doing that is called your lip because you need that to close it. In terms of elevation, the rice cannot be more than 2 grains tall.
I love cooking with my senses, and that's actually how I cook, sensory cooking.
Right.
And this for me, because I can actually touch it. You can't do that with a lot of dishes.
Let me get my knife. So we're going to cut our cucumber. And because the cutting board is just right underneath our nori and the rice, right? What we want to do is just make sure that it's just flush on one side, right? And you want to snip off the end.
And then we're gonna go to the other side.
And then snip that off.
Okay.
Okay. So usually what we do with a cucumber is we cut these in half as well. Let's do that.
Next.
And then we're going to take the 2 halves.
And you're standing them up.
Standing them up, cut them in half.
Okay.
And then what we want to do is we want to get rid of the seeds. Basically what you're doing is you're holding it in your hand and then with your knife, slanting it so that the edge is facing toward the center of your cucumber. And just like ply it through and then turn it around and do the other side. And all you're doing is just getting rid of this wedge of seeds.
I'm more comfortable resting it onto the cutting board because I'm low vision. So I can hold down the vegetable or whatever it is that I'm cutting and then pull it away. Because if I have it in my hand and I kind of miss, we don't want that.
With the cucumbers, now that you've removed the seeds, turn them over.
Okay.
And then with the palm of your hand, press down on them so that you're flattening them. Yeah, just like that.
This.
Yeah, you could all use this every
A
single
little
day.
stress release. Okay.
And then now you have two pieces that are kind of sticking together, right? What we're going to do is we're going to create 3 sticks in each of the halves of halves. Okay, let's make our kapamaki.
Yes.
We want to make sure that your nori sheet and the rice is flush down to the bottom edge of your bamboo mat.
Okay.
Okay, take 2 pieces of cucumber now, sticks, put them end to end across the middle of your rice.
Okay.
Here's the thing, the beauty of the 2 rolls that I'm going to teach you are distilled down to 3 steps. Here's the first step. I want you to take your thumbs, place them under the bottom edge of the bamboo mat.
Okay.
With the remaining fingers, I want you to lay them on top of the cucumbers. As you're holding gently onto the cucumbers, you're bringing your thumbs over so they round over the cucumbers and the rice, and you start releasing your fingers and let the bottom edge over the rice and cucumber until it fully rounds over all the ingredients. Step 2 is the massage or the shaping of it. You're trying to squircle it.
What is squircle?
Anybody who's graduated from kindergarten knows what a squircle is. A squircle is a square circle.
Obviously, I missed that class.
So here's the thing. A square circle means 4-sided object that does not have sharp 90-degree corners. And this is what I do. I do the squid dance. I entangle 2 squid together in the middle of the roll.
So my fingers are intertwining
That's
on
right.
top of the bamboo roll?
That's right. On top of the hump.
Okay.
And then you're going to separate the squid. Have them walk away from each other, and then the 2 squid come back together again. Only one more step.
Okay.
I want you to gently peel back the bottom edge of your bamboo mat, push the roll forward onto its next side. Remember, it's a 4-sided object, right?
Okay.
And then do the squid dance. Next is we're going to cut it, right?
Okay.
So I want you to take your roll and place it on your cutting board, seam side down. Okay, so what you want to do with the blade is you want to dip it into the water, let the water run down one edge of your blade.
So we're lifting up the tip?
Right, and then turning it over, dipping it again, and letting the water run down the other edge. And the reason why you're doing that is because it's going to make for a much more seamless, frictionless cut, okay?
Okay.
You're going to take the tip of your blade, and you're going to place it in the middle of your roll. Raise the blade at about a 25-degree angle over the cutting board, driving the blade forward and with equal pressure bringing the base of the blade down toward the cutting board. And before the knife stops, you're pulling it quickly like a cord. You have 2 pieces now. Dip the blade in the water every single time you're dipping it in, okay? And let's do 8 perfect, even pieces.
I can cook you whatever you'd like, but I can definitely use help with my knife skills.
Now, you're doing a great job. So now we're gonna plate it.
So we finished our first roll. We're getting ready for our second roll. So when we return, Chef Sang is gonna walk us through the magnificent green dragon roll. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for more Dish with Mary. We now return to Dish with Mary. Welcome back. Before the break, we made a traditional cucumber roll. Now we're getting ready to make a green dragon roll.
Yep, let's go. You wanna do this?
Yes.
All right, so now let's put our nori sheets down again, horizontally across your bamboo mat with the rough or coarse side facing the ceiling. Dip your fingers in the water, clap it onto the other hand, and very quickly start maneuvering the rice. I want you to spread it over the whole sheet.
Okay.
So now, watch this technique, okay? This is really critical. How do you get the rice facing down on the bamboo mat? So you ready?
Okay.
You focused?
Okay.
So what you do is you just lift it up and you flop it over. Okay,
I
so
was
just
concentrating.
so what I like to do is I like to put some of the garnishes first. So let's take some of this Kewpie mayo, just smear it across the middle of the sheet.
Japanese mayo. What's the difference between that and regular mayo?
Japanese mayo, first of all, is much more lighter it's got a more silkier kind of experience in your mouth. But
Can
on
I
the whole,
taste it?
yes. See how much lighter it is to.
It is, and it's got like a bit of a tang to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take an avocado.
Okay.
We're gonna have the avocado lengthwise, and then get rid of the seed. There's a garbage bin right here between us. And so here is the thing that you have to understand about an avocado. When you score it, is that you're scoring it just thin enough so that it's pliable and it'll wrap around without breaking. It's about 1/5 of an inch thick.
Okay.
And then take your spoon, and then what you want to do is scoop in, and then scoop all the way around until you take all of the scored pieces out, okay? And then do the exact same thing with the other half of the avocado. And we're just gonna leave the avocados to the side for now. Okay, so we're gonna take 2 pieces of shrimp tempura, put them end to end,
And tails out.
tails out. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna deal with our unagi.
Now, what is unagi?
Unagi is a freshwater eel.
This is coated now with a barbecue sauce.
Yes. It's very, very sweet, gelatinous. It's almost, and gives it a real caramelized quality. It's very sticky. So what we need to do is we need to put gloves on. So
Okay.
let's put on your gloves. And what I'll do is I'm gonna cut it lengthwise in half and give you 1/2. And what we'll do with it is you see the lines where the spine is?
I
You
can actually feel it.
That's right. Just cut it down lengthwise along that spine. And just lay it adjacent to the shrimp tempura.
Just one piece of it.
Yep. I'm gonna take my gloves off and then take 2 pieces of cucumber and lay them on top of the shrimp and the unagi.
Okay,
Of that
now,
pyramid.
okay, I get it. So we've got shrimp on one side, unagi on the other side, and smack on top in the center where the 2 connect, we're putting that cucumber.
Right.
There's
And
your pyramid.
Now we're gonna put on a couple of more garnish ingredients, okay?
Okay.
So let's start with the flying fish roll.
I can't get over the color of this. It's like a bright orange.
Why don't we put a little bit of the black in there? Because as you know about Japanese sushi, it's all about the vibrancy of colors, right? So we'll put also the toasted sesame seeds and just spread it on top.
Can I be generous with this?
Yes, yours looks much better than mine because it's evenly distributed. So now what we want to do is we want to roll it. So with your index finger and thumb, pick up the bottom flap.
So one side of it, okay?
And then just wrap it just gently around the ingredients.
Okay.
And once you do that, then you want to continue the wrapping over the whole thing. So now you have your roll done here, right? Now take your sliced avocado pieces and we're gonna layer them over on top of the rice.
Crosswise, lengthwise, doesn't matter.
You want to layer it so they're all arching in the same direction.
So you're gonna like that fan effect.
Yeah. I've also provided for you saran wrap, right?
I was wondering when we were gonna use this.
Yeah, so the saran wrap is going to go over the avocado.
So we just place it over top?
Yeah. Make sure it's really tight around the avocado.
Okay.
Bring it right to the upper middle part of the bamboo mat.
Okay.
And then bring your bamboo mat over.
The side facing me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just nicely and tightly wrap it around. And here's the trick, okay? Then you want to pull on the twine in opposite directions. And that's where you're going to get that real tight closing of the roll.
Okay, so I'm actually feeling for that twine. And I'm lining it up and then just pulling.
Pulling the hump towards you as you're pulling the top end in
Okay.
the opposite direction, okay? And then you're just going to keep doing that. And then again, of course, peel back, push the roll forward, and just repeat that process. Once you take your saran wrap off, take your roll, put it on a cutting board, and then keep dipping your blade in the water, and then you're gonna cut it. There's a lot of crunchy, hard material inside, so you need to be a little bit aggressive with this cut, okay?
I definitely felt that when I was cutting it.
Let's plate our dragon rolls. And then I want us to bring our first one, the one that we did, remember?
So right now on my plate in front of me, we've got some ginger, wasabi, soy sauce, our cucumber rolls,
And our dragon roll.
And our dragon rolls, okay.
So the first thing is, let's just take one of the pieces of our cucumber roll. Okay?
Okay, with my hands?
Yep. Dip it in the soy sauce with the nori side down
Okay.
again. Put it in your mouth. And I want you to think about what is happening inside your mouth.
You really got to experience every different aspect of the roll. So you got that crunch, you got that tacky, that consistency from the rice, but the rice has just such a light flavoring to it. So everything has its own kind of flavor that melts together.
Right. So you were picking all of those things up at the same time, right? Now look what happens when you eat a roll with the rice on the outside. Dip it in the soy sauce. So what you're doing is either you're gonna let it be dipped into the avocado side, or you're gonna put it down, ingredients side down. Just let it kiss very lightly. Put it in your mouth.
All of it?
Yep.
There's not gonna be anything pretty about this. Okay.
Okay, that's good. And start chewing. Tell me what you taste.
What's interesting with this is that you definitely don't get the distinct flavors of each ingredient. It just meshes together and the soy sauce actually overpowers it.
Your molars turn everything into mush, and you're not getting clearly articulated flavor and texture with every bite that you got in the first one, because the difference is that it's the back part of the mouth working and not the middle part, which is where your palate is.
And this is where it's deceiving, because you would think that the green dragon roll that has much more ingredients would be more flavorful,
Right.
as opposed to the cucumber roll, where it's just cucumber, rice, and nori. I've learned so much about sushi today, but I want to get to know a little more about you. So when we return, we're going to dish with Chef Sang, so don't go anywhere. Dish with Mary will return. You're watching Dish with Mary. Now that our sushi workshop is complete, it's time to dish with Chef Sang. So we made our way to Moss Park Espresso to do just that. Chef Sang, thank you so much for the sushi lesson. But I want to know, I'm curious, when did you start hosting the sushi workshops, and why did you?
I started about 15 years ago in one of my restaurants, and it was because somebody had asked me, could you do me a favor and help me try and raise awareness and raise a little bit of fundraising to deal with issues around childhood poverty and food insecurity in a housing project down in downtown Toronto. And there's pictures posted, and then suddenly the public just wanted to have sushi making classes. And so originally it was always out of my restaurants.
And then you kind of took that on the road. So I know that food and community are very important to you. Why do you think the two are connected?
There are people who drink alone, and there are people who eat alone. And food, as I grew up with it in Korea, was that you didn't eat unless practically half the village was in our farmhouse. And what was interesting is when I came to Canada, of course, what that immigration experience does to families is they invariably crash that whole system.
Right.
You know, parents are working full-time, 14, 16 hours, and the type of businesses my parents were in, you're invariably eating instant noodle bowls.
Right.
So that was a complete destruction of my idea of food as something that you have and share with your family. And that's how really I got into the restaurant business, to see that, to recreate that. And so of course the extension of the family is the community, right? So reaching out beyond the restaurant, beyond your own kitchen table was important to me. Particularly for those people who don't have much. And like me, in my early years, don't have that experience of sharing food and breaking bread with family.
Food is what brought you and I together.
Yes.
And for that, I am eternally grateful. But I want to know, what brings you joy?
It's definitely not making food.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always been an exercise in futility. In the restaurant business, you're just churning out stuff all of the time, and it's the same stuff, right? I got very tired of that. Because I think I grew up in the restaurant business my whole life, I'm at a place in my life where I just enjoy being by myself. If anything, with my food, I like going backwards. So for me, food making, the things that I make that bring me great joy is trying to recreate what my grandmother's kimchi or my grandmother's sujebi or my grandmother's noodle dish reminds me of, that brings me joy from a cooking standpoint. But on the whole, I've never liked cooking in restaurants.
That is so interesting. Okay. I love that nostalgia aspect of it, because that to me is what I love about cooking.
Where I think a lot of people focus a little too much on is the actual making of that dish.
Right.
As opposed to all of the ancillary stuff, like the way your grandmother looked at you when you were eating her dish and it appeared like you just really loved it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all of those things play into trying to recapture the experience as opposed to merely a technique or the same set of ingredients, right?
Absolutely.
Here's what brings me joy. That people like you do what you do. You bring so much joy to it and you bring so much creativity and you also help people. That brings me joy watching that.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna tear up. Thank you. Thank you for that. That is very kind and very sweet of you. You, my friend, are witty. You are wonderful. You are wise.
www.
Yes.
What's the URL then? sangkim.com. Okay.
Thank you so much for cooking and sharing with us today. This has been so much fun.
It was so much fun for me as well. Thank you, Mary.
For today's full recipe, visit our website at ami.ca/dish-recipes. Host, Mary Mammoliti. Executive producer, Michelle Dudas. Series producer, Anna Padra-Barrick. Associate producer and editor, Miriam Bakhtiar. Director of photography, Brian Roy. Camera operators and assistants, Gavin Lee, Andrew Vance. Sound recordist, Mike Bonson. Food stylist, Joyce Singh. Media accessibility specialist, Simone Cupid. Audio post, Mike Monson. Graphics, Mike Smith. President and CEO, David Arrington. Copyright 2022, Accessible Media, Inc.